Melissa, this is DJ Just Jay from the AFC podcast. How are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing great. And I need to let you know as a disclaimer that we are live on my YouTube channel right now. And I think I mentioned that in my message. Is that okay?
You did, yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure and confirm that. I don't want any misunderstandings about that. So I guess here's what I'm trying to figure out, because this is a very difficult thing. I mean, it's almost like it doesn't even sound real that this has happened. And I assume that you're partially familiar with this story?
Yes, it's a nightmare. And I mean, you hear about it a lot online, on podcasts, but you just never imagine that it would hit so close to home. This home is like within a mile from my house. We share the same community pool. We share this neighborhood shares the same community pool. We share the same school district. So, you know, it hits pretty close to home. And it's sad. It's really sad that a 3-year-old would be in the middle of a feud with other kids, because these are teenagers that we're talking about. These are a group of high schoolers that just don't fight like what our fights used to be about when we were growing up. You know,
I talked about that. I agree.
Yes. I mean, I can recall having a fight on Monday and going to spend the night at that individual's house on Friday. You know, we were raised different. And this day and time, I just don't know how kids are getting their hands on guns, and even to know how to even shoot a gun. But now a mother has to lay her 3-year-old to rest over a senseless crime that kids couldn't handle amongst themselves.
Let me ask you this, because I know you don't have a lot of time, and I wanted to kind of see, kind of feel around, because I definitely don't want to be disrespectful. I want to make sure and give you the utmost respect. So, were you aware when this happened? Like, were you home? Did you hear it, or did you kind of hear about it kind of after the fact?
Well, I was home, and I say this happened about 11:30 at night. I'm usually in the bed by 11, but that night I wasn't, and I thought what to be fireworks, and it was not. I didn't think any more about it. Just thought, you know, it was Labor Day the other day, maybe just, you know, some kids firing, you know, shooting off fireworks. It wasn't the next morning I turned on the TV and at 6 in the morning getting ready for work, and I see breaking news, and the street just looked so familiar. I was like, I've heard of that street. Where is that street at? And then when it showed a map, it was like right in my backyard, basically. Mm-hmm. And then we all seeked out to Nextdoor, which is a neighborhood app, and it was just flooded with pray for the family. I just cannot believe it's happening. And it was just so many neighbors that was also affected by this. Homes was targeted, that one target house that was targeted. Those teenagers also shot into other homes, missing a lady's child's bed where her son was sleeping by inches.
Let me ask you this, because it is such an odd thing, and people always telling me I need to get my facts straight. I wasn't there. I don't know what I'm talking about. They always send me these wild emails when I'm actually just going off of what the police say 10 times out of 10. But from what I understand, there were 2 children there, and I think it was either their grandmother or great-grandmother. Who did they think was staying there, and why did they target this house? Like, that's usually the most innocent people, usually in altercations, is kids and grandparents, right?
Right, and it sounds like from, you know, and you are correct. I do know at the time of this, after speaking with community leaders that have went over and showed gratitude towards the family, that home was occupied by grandmothers and grandkids of all ages. So I don't know if someone lived in that house with a attended target. What I do know is that it was 7 people in the home at the time this occurred.
Okay. Okay,
And
because and another thing is, as I also use the terminology "quote unquote" targeted, because they, with this level of shots, they only hit one house. They hit no other houses unless they were just stray bullets. But they were aiming. Their intention was to hit that one home.
Right. Exactly. And I don't know how much footage that you had, because I heard in your podcast that you have footage. It's a lot of Ring apps that, a lot of Ring videos that are surfacing around, and one shows where they go down the street and then come back up the street, like they knew this was the house that they was attending. You know, they target. But this is sad because these are teenagers that had no care in the world who they injured, who they hurt.
Yeah.
To know that a 3-year-old lost his life.
They're beautiful little kids too.
Beautiful. I cannot imagine what that mother's going through. But there is a plea for the community. Well, actually, there's a plea for the world that we must put the guns down. And we no longer have this village that we used to raise. The village is no longer there anymore. And
may I ask you a question?
It breaks my heart.
I want to ask you a question. I don't mean any disrespect, because a lot of times some people, like, I feel like me and you vibe pretty well so far, and I don't mean any disrespect when I ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
I hear a lot of people are always on the news talking about it's gun violence, and we need to put the guns down. And that's a pretty consensus type of statement all the way across the board. Like, when people hear that, like, it makes sense. And I've been kind of preaching my message of the guns have nothing to do with this.
It's
the individuals with the guns.
Right. Guns don't kill people. It's stupid people with guns that kill people.
Right. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yes,
that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I do believe in an individual taking care and you know, and protecting their home and protecting their property, but nowadays these guns are not used for that. These guns are carried on your hip, like we used to carry our pagers. I mean, it's nothing for them. And it's sad to know that they can get their hands on guns so easily. It's easy. And I don't know much about guns.
That's a lot of firepower, even for some, like, if they were going, like, if it were grown adults, like, going hunting, that'd be a lot of rounds for somebody that's actually intending to take a lot of ammo to shoot and have along with them, let alone high school kids.
Exactly, Joe. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. I don't even know the ins and outs about a gun, but to know that that many rounds went into one house, to be honest with you, I'm just surprised that no one else was seriously injured. Yeah. Besides, you know, his sister was injured. She was grazed, but she's due to make a full recovery. But I'm just shocked that it just wasn't more senseless death behind this.
That's enough. That's enough ammo that could have took that house off its foundation. That's how serious that is.
Yes, exactly.
But I don't want to take too much of your time. Let me ask you this: like you're familiar with the vigil that they had, I believe, correct?
Yes, that vigil took place on yesterday, and that vigil was called by an organization called Team Blue here in Charlotte, and then they have multiple ones going on all weekend. We're having one. The community is getting together and releasing balloons and a prayer on Saturday at the lake, which the neighborhood that we live in, they're lakefront homes. So they're going to be at a pond near the lake, and they're going to release balloons. And then something is happening on Friday. They're at the local mall on Friday. The mall is about maybe 7 miles away from the neighborhood where this incident happened at, and they're going to release balloons. I was told orange was his favorite color, so they're asking everyone to wear orange. And just remember this kid as being, as a kid. I mean, he didn't get to. His mom would never get to see him walk down a aisle to wish him the best at a graduation. She would never be able to hold her baby's hand again.
Yeah.
And it's just sad, Jay. It's just really sad all the way around. It's just sad.
Man, I'm absolutely honored that you even responded to my message and been kind enough to at least kind of hear, what I was hoping to try to do and get in touch with somebody. But I'm thankful to even be in touch with you. Like, the people in my chat are already saying this because they look like I have a message and I think it's a good message, but they know that I'm against balloon releases for a lot of different reasons, just because it litters, it hurts the environment, it hurts animals and stuff like that. I'm really hoping that at some point, and I'm saying this even about my own personal situation, because I just had a friend that passed away from what the media calls gun violence. You know what I'm saying? But but in all actuality, but they just did a balloon release, I believe, a couple of days ago, and I really wish they didn't do that. I'm hoping that they start moving towards like candlelit vigils. I think they look nicer anyway, and they don't hurt anything whenever you do a candle vigil. So I'm hoping that at some point, because those balloons, they say they go up into the clouds. The balloons are not going into heaven. They're not going into outer space. You know what I mean? They're going to go in somebody's yard, somebody's pond. They're going to cause somebody's electrical box to go out or something. You know what I mean? And somebody's tree. But
Jay, you are correct. So maybe I need to reword that. Now, on Friday is a balloon release, but the visual that myself and Kim have on Saturday, it is a candlelight visual, and we are asking everyone to bring $5 to help bury this little one. Right now, his mom has a GoFundMe page up because burial probably was never in her dreams at this. Was never in her mind.
Yeah.
So now we want to make sure that she's able to put this precious baby away. So I'll be more than happy to share that with you as well, and we'll most definitely keep in contact because it starts here. If we can make the teens, the individuals aware of senseless crimes, we have to. And I think, like I said before, the village actually stopped being a village. I mean, it stopped being a village, and we have to get that village. We have to get that village back. And that's my prayer tonight, is that we can get that village back. We can go back to what it was when we were kids. The village stopped raising the kids when the parents started having problems with the village. What's being corrected. So we have to go back to that. We have to.
Absolutely. Well, Melissa, look, I thank you so much for your time. I know it's getting about that hour, but I thank you so much. Please be safe. And look, I'm just one of those people that I believe in staying armed. I don't know that it would have made a difference here. Really. It just, this was just absolutely damn ridiculous. But I still encourage my law-abiding citizens to use their Second Amendment rights and stock up on your weapons, keep your weapons, use them, get proficient with them, get some training, and, just to be able to protect yourself and your loved ones,
You're right. You are so right. And thanks for all that you do for your community and this world. And I wish you all the best.
It's an honor, sister. And thank you so much. You have a good evening.
You're welcome.
And when you get a chance, send me that GoFundMe. I'll make sure and show my audience that GoFundMe page.
Oh, sure. No problem. Thank you so much.
Okay. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Awesome call. Thank you to her. And again, she's just one of the concerned people in that area, and she's helping kind of organize the vigil and things like that. But shout out to her for doing that.